Hi everyone and welcome back to part 2 of the days of Dany Bahar. Okay, so let's have a more detailed look at the Esprit, as it was the only one that really had any work done on it and scheduled to be the first one going into production in 2013. The project name for this car was Fuji. There was a lot of deliberation about the engine to be used, and of course Toyota were looked at as they was the current engine suppliers. The Toyota V8 5 litre was looked at. Also, I think the 4.8 litre V10 as fitted in the Lexus LFA sports car may have been mentioned as well. But Dany decided that a new Lotus supercar should have a Lotus engine, something not seen since the previous Esprit. Now, Wolf Zimmermann, who was now Lotus Car's Chief Technical Officer, had previously worked at AMG. He collaborated with a German company called HWA, whose founder had formed AMG back in 1967 with his business partner. Mercedes-Benz then bought the AMG part in 1998 and HWA split away as a motorsport engineering company. So between Wolf and HWA they designed a nice little 5 litre normally aspirated dry sump V8 engine. The prototype was built and it was run on a dyno. The plan, I believe, was to manufacture and part assemble the engine in Germany, ship to Hethel, where final assembly would be completed. By doing this, it could be claimed as a Lotus engine. The engine had a big budget, tens of millions, so it had to be good. The prototype was shipped to Hethel and fitted in a mule car, which happened to be a Ferrari 458. Apparently the performance was very promising. Transmission being looked at the time was a Graziano 7-speed unit, I believe. Of course, for a car in this segment, the electrical architecture would need a big step up over previous Lotus models. Lotus would go for top suppliers like Intidis, Hella and Bosch etc. No penny pinching and lower end suppliers for this car. Even the engine harness would have to look perfect and aesthetically pleasing by order of the Chief Technical Officer. The Eisman Group were chosen for interior supply and design. This company worked for Audi, Bentley and BMW on their interiors, and unfortunately the Lotus trim shop, as good as they are, could not produce the quality required for this segment vehicle. As I worked in the after sales department of Lotus providing technical support and training to the dealer network, what we were interested in was the serviceability of the car. Now, this has not really been given much priority in the past on Lotus models, as any of you who have worked on them may agree. This car needed to be more service friendly to reduce the inconvenience to the owners, vehicles off the road, owners being without their cars because the car was stuck at a dealership, and to reduce the warranty costs and of course customer dissatisfaction. To achieve this, certain requirements had to be met. Things like under trays should be removable after the car is on a 2-poster ramp, unlike the Elise Exige, where the rear one needs removing before being put on the ramp safely. Mechanical fixings should be corrosion resistant for durability as well as cosmetic appearance. An age-old problem on Lotus cars, rusty fixings. Exterior fittings such as body grills and louvres should be removable without removal of body panels. Whoever thought it was a good idea to bond the front grille in from the inside, meaning you had to take the front clam off to change it? Crazy. As many electronic modules as possible to be easily accessible for wiring connection checks or replacement without major vehicle strip down. The HVAC unit and pollen filters should be as easy to remove as possible because at some point it will go wrong. Ideally it would be located within the cabin, and it also means it's not affected by ambient temperatures or water ingress. Pipes such as HVAC, brake or cooler pipes etc. should be accessible to change, not stuck behind bonded panels as on the Elise and Exige and Evora. Now all this may sound logical things and will result in lower ownership costs and lower warranty costs and a win-win for everyone. Unfortunately it doesn't work like that. Production is king, so build them quick and push them out is the attitude. Now of course with such an advanced vehicle a training plan had to be formulated, which I did. In December 2011 I had a meeting with the Fuji project manager and it was agreed I would get a validation prototype car to prepare and use for this. I proposed a course of 10 modules consisting of 2 one-day modules and 8 3-day modules covering all aspects of this new vehicle. It would be the most comprehensive training ever offered by Lotus on one car. We had to be sure that the techs within the network were fully trained before the car hit the showrooms. Of course, this was the future, and during Dany's era, the current model lineup had to be updated. The Evora would get a supercharger and an automatic gearbox. The Elise would lose the 1ZZ and 2ZZ Toyota engines and get the 1ZR and 2ZR engines. The Elise and the 4-cylinder Exige were discontinued in the USA due to the fact they didn't have smart airbags. The V6 Exige was introduced, but not in the USA for road use, only for track, because it was basically an Elise and Exige with the Evora powertrain stuck in it, but it still had the same airbags. Now then, in 2012, the Malaysian conglomerate DRB Hycom bought a majority share in Proton from the Malaysian government, and this included Lotus. Lotus had to suffer a 60-day freeze on spending, and production virtually stopped, as well as all other projects. It was a worrying time for all at Hethel. Then in May 2012, Bill heard that DRB had suspended Dany Bahar following a complaint about his conduct. In June, he was dismissed. Then began a claim by Dany for unfair dismissal, and DRB then put in a counter-claim. A date was set for a London High Court case in 2014, but a settlement was agreed before it went to court. From the events in 2012, Lotus entered a period of what I would call austerity. Eventually the new Esprit was cancelled, along with all the other new era cars. Redundancies were on the horizon, work on a new factory extension stopped and stayed unfinished until Geely came in and is now the new Emira production line and paint shop. Engineers and senior management left. Hethel was not a happy place to be. So what happened to Dany Bahar? He went on to found a company called Ares Design in Modena, Italy. They will, if you have the money, design and modify your existing luxury car, bit of Rolls Royce, Bentley, etc., however you want it. They are even working on their own car based on a Corvette C8, underpinnings called the Ares S1 project. Now, Dany had already touched on this concept of customising cars during his time at Lotus with the Evora GTE, which was launched at the Frankfurt Motor Show. Done in collaboration with Mansory and Swindon Racing Engines. Mansory supplied the body kits and Swindon modified the engines to produce 444 horsepower with reprofiled cams, enlarged exhaust and a calibrated engine map. The car had an automated EA60 manual transmission fitted, which wasn't brilliant. Centre lock wheels were fitted to spacers. Interiors and exteriors were fitted with lots of carbon fibre to reduce weight from 1430 to 1325 kilos. All cars were left-hand drive only. Only trouble was that the cars did not have type approval, I believe, and couldn't be sold for road use. The cars that had been sent out were recovered back to the factory, and the motorsport boys converted the cars back to standard 350 Evora engine and automatic gearboxes, and they all got an individual build plate. It was all a bit of a mess really, but it was a nice looking car. And so ended the Dany Bahar era at Lotus Cars. So much promise, so much started, but little delivered in the end. All of a bit of a shame really, as all the workforce were pretty excited for the new era, but in the end paid the price for its failure. Now at Lotus another era ends, the era of the Elise Exige Evora, which ended production in 2021 to make way for the new Emira initially, and then all the electric lifestyle vehicles which will be built mainly in China. This era will transform Lotus to a real global technology player in a rapidly changing automotive world, hopefully with that uniqueness that Lotus has always had. So that's my memories of the Dany Bahar days, an exciting but painful time in the end. So until the next time, keep subscribing, liking, enjoy your life, enjoy your Lotus, and so long from me, Tony Margaretto, the Lotus Guru.